Hello and welcome to episode number 7 of Ask Keith Mills. Bunch of questions to get through, so let's get started. First one up is from Jason Anderson. Jason says, I wonder, oh how I wonder, when one would like to aim at creating an off-the-beat, hippity-hoppity, syncopated track with ultra-heavy, prominent, sustained basses throughout, such as the meaty part of Wife's Bodies, how the unholy hell is a monster like this managed mix-wise? Hi Jason, how's it going? Wicked email there. It took a while to decipher what you were talking about, particularly the track name, the meaty part of Wife's Bodies. It was a little bit off-putting, but the track is Bodies by Wife. I've had a listen to it, I've checked it out, and you're right, there is a section in there that's really full on and in your face. But when you actually examine it, there are two things going on. First of all, that bass has become ginormous, but listen to the other parts in the track. They're really pushed to the back of the mix, and most of them are stripped out by that stage. So I think there's the odd sort of vocally part which would be sitting somewhere in the right in the middle of the mid-range, and then you've got some of the tops, you know, the hats and so on right at the top. The other thing to notice there about that is the kick drum that is still playing. Listen to the kick, it's super short. Just this very tight punchy part of the kick without the big sort of subby body and tail, so that it punches right through the bass line. Also, have a listen to that kick, because even though it's primed and it's probably got a bit of side chain on it to help it punch through, when the bass gets massive, the kick really does go missing if you pay attention to it. The deal is we've got used to the rhythm of that kick, and so psychoacoustically you're hearing just enough of it that your brain is filling in the gaps and hears the full kick being there. So in answer to your question, it's super loud and powerful, that bass, and it's got that room to do it because everything else has been removed, and the only bit that is really competing with it gets swamped anyway. So really wicked track. Had a lot of fun listening to it. Just remember, if you're putting a huge sound in I should say, in your track, you probably want to strip out quite a lot of other things so that it doesn't have to compete and it can really shine on its own. Hope that helps, buddy, and I hope you're well. Okay, a second question is from Matt Bush. So Matt asks, in a nutshell, how do I organise all of my plugins, all of my samples, so that I can be nice and productive in the studio? Matt, how's it going, mate? Good to hear from you, and thank you very much for your question. You've seen on a few of the videos the way that I've got things organised by type mainly. I don't see the point in having my samples organised by the sample manufacturer or the guy who made the packs. If I want to find a tom drum, I want to look in a folder called toms. So all of my plugins are organised by type, so EQs and filters, for example, dynamics plugins, delays, so on and so forth, and all of my samples are also organised by type, so kicks, bass, so on and so forth. Now, the way that I actually keep things super streamlined, first of all, I've got 2 user accounts on my Mac. One that is specifically for music production, which you won't normally see in the tutorials. That one has got very stripped back VST folders. I've got the bare necessities in there and only the synths, samplers and various effects that I know inside out. I will have maybe 1 or 2 other things in there that I'm experimenting with and learning with, but I'm never ever overwhelmed. On the sample side of things, I keep 2 different sample banks. I've got a data drive with the 20 million billion samples in it. Then I've got what I call my live drive, which is the one that I actually have focused in and is actually in the browser in my DAW. So that has only the samples that I really want to use. The folders have got very few samples in them compared to the billions that I've actually got. And every time I download a new pack, I listen through it and I pick the samples that I want to go into the live folders, and then the rest of it, the entire pack as it was downloaded, sits in this ginormous library of mine. Over time, I find there are samples that I just don't use in the live library, so they just get deleted. I just get rid of them. And so that's a constantly evolving, small, compact library of sounds. But I've still got this monstrous library with all this madness in it sitting there in case I ever do want to get to it. And I like this system because it satisfies the hoarder in me that doesn't want to delete the Austrian yak being milked sample in case I make some futuristic space jazz one day. I want to keep that, but I don't want it clogging up my actual working process. So that's how I do things. It takes a little bit of a time to first set that library up, but once you've done it, you find that it's so much easier to find the sounds, effects and instruments that you want. Hope that helps, mate. Okay, so last up, Christopher Fafalios. Christopher says, I'm trying to get out of the 8-bar loop syndrome. Is there a common track arrangement I should follow? I've read about chorus, verses, etc., but how do they apply to a tech prog house tune? Hi Christopher, how's it going, buddy? I hope you're well. So this is actually really relevant because last week I talked about this Kickstart course, the free course, and that will actually show you an arrangement technique in there that's perfect for what you're looking for. So I'll give you a rough outline of what it is now. It's called Theme and Variations, and the way that it works is you create a variety of different sections before you start arranging. So you take that 8-bar loop and you take the most prominent, the best part of it, the thing that makes your track stand out, and then you create sections where it's varied, it's altered in some way. Maybe you've layered it, got a different instrument playing it, and so on and so forth. Get a bunch of ideas together, and then the arrangement technique is actually putting those in a nice order, and you get to then try and glue them together and work out how the pieces of the puzzle fit, rather than trying to just build it from scratch or trying to fit it into an arrangement style that doesn't really belong. Now, based on what I've said, what I'd say to you is have a listen to some tunes that you like, and I'll bet you'll hear exactly what I've just said happening. Not necessarily as strictly as these building blocks, but you'll get the idea. You'll hear that main sound and how it's being varied, and then you can start experimenting doing that with different sections. So get your 8-bar loop, duplicate it out a few times and make different sections out of it, and then try and work out how you can stick them together. It's a really good technique. Best thing to do though is check out that Kickstart course because I really detail it in there. And also you may have seen the 6-part series, the Make a Track Fast, that I've been doing on YouTube as well. That follows very, very similar guidelines. So I hope that helps, buddy. For anybody who's not seen the Kickstart course, link below the video, have a look at that. Okay, that's it for episode 7. We're burning through these at a rate, which is awesome. Thanks again for watching. Special thanks if you've dropped me any questions. Guys, I love making this series for you. I'd really like to know if you're enjoying it though. So the only way I can find out is if you like the video, share it, drop me a comment, give me some feedback so that I know you're alive, well, and you're enjoying this. And of course, if you'd like to have a question answered, hit me up Instagram or Twitter. It's hashtag askkeithmills. Otherwise, just fire your question beneath this video and I will get answering it for you. Until next time, guys, take care and happy music making.